fourth episode of the Forward Podcast. Today things are going to be a little different, so welcome to the CarterNotSmarter x the Forward Podcast collab.
This is so tough.
We are currently filming at Carter's setup, as you guys can see. So Carter's a sophomore soccer star golf player here at EC. So welcome to the Forward Podcast, Carter.
I wouldn't say soccer star.
Oh, okay.
I was bench.
Okay, well, bench warmer star.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so to get the listeners to know some more information about you, and just to get to know you better, I'm gonna ask you a question. So, what would you say is an important moment or realization in your life that taught you an important lesson or something that has stuck with you, and how has it influenced your journey to where you are today? So basically, like a lesson. Maybe it could be an experience, or it could have been just some advice that someone gave you that like has really stuck with you.
All right. So when I was in Minnesota 3 years ago, or something like that.
Just like vacation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I go every summer, and
Okay.
my cousin who just graduated was like, I was going to high school and he was going to college.
Yeah.
And the night before we left, at like 1 a.m., he came up to me and gave me like some tips for high school. And one of them was make sure you get good grades. And the second one was like, don't care about what other people think about you. And that really stuck with me.
Snaps for that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's fire. Yeah. So actually that kind of relates to today's topic, which is purpose and kind of like our calling and what that even means. So I feel like it's something that of course everyone thinks about and naturally worries a little about, because like obviously in high school all your big decisions and stuff, it feels like you have to know what you're gonna do, and like that every small little thing's gonna add up and stuff, and like how your decision should be based on your purpose. But what if you don't know what your purpose is, you know? So I think part of the thing is the pressure we put on ourselves, obviously, to know our like calling so early, and that like everything goes to our plan. But I wrote down here, Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails," which is a really good verse, I think, because we can have like a set plan and we can plan out all of like whatever these things that we want, but in the end, like it's really not our plan that's gonna like prosper and actually gonna unfold. It's gonna be the Lord's plan, like no matter what we do, no matter what decision we make. So what would be your best advice on being patient with yourself when you don't know your calling yet? Or what have you done, do you think?
Like when I don't know what to do?
Like when you're thinking like big picture, like, and you just get like overwhelmed kind of, what would you say is like some good advice you'd give someone?
So my big picture thing is like college and like after high school, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just like to hang out with friends, like focus on the moments that you are in and not focus on the future things, because the moments you're in right now are like, you're not going to think about the times that you're stressed about, but you're just going to think about the fun times that you had with others. So.
You know what? That's so true. And I feel like people like overlook like those light, like fun moments, but it really is what you remember, like with your friends and stuff. So I think it's important to like embrace that.
Yeah, and if you like think back to a vacation you had, you're not gonna have like memories of like that flight that took 10 minutes longer than.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's not like worth it to stress over the little things.
What's some advice you would give to someone?
I think I would say, honestly, like just to take it like step by step. Like I don't think it's gonna, well, some people do have like that big like moment that they're like, I know what I want to do, but some people like don't and like won't, which is fine. So I think if we just like take it step by step and not get too overwhelmed by like looking at, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with my life? Because like I do that too sometimes. But this is a point I wrote down. I think when you start focusing on like who you are and like who you are identity wise through Christ, and like the values that you want to like instill in like every decision you make, obviously.
Yeah.
And through like just your perspective on life, I think that what you're supposed to do like can naturally flow from that, you know what I mean? And like you can't flip the order, like you can't be doing all of these things while not knowing like where your foundation is.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like you can see people like doing that, but they're not gonna be successful like in the end. So what do you think about that?
So like your foundation centered on Christ, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
How do you think like you can actually apply that?
Everything that you do, like if you see someone with like a Christian, that's not a Christian, I mean, and ask like why they're doing what they're doing, they're eventually at the end gonna have no reason to why they're doing it, but you can just have the reason that I'm doing it because God's calling me to do this thing. So I feel like that's powerful in that sort of setting.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And like honestly, if you're not looking at it with like a, let's say, Christian mindset and kind of like biblical view, it's kind of like, what's even the point of all of these struggles or like all these like temptations and stuff? Like what's the point, honestly, like to life if you're not if you don't believe that like it's all for a purpose and all for like a plan that we're such a little speck in that plan, but still. So when was the last time you felt truly awed by something, like in awe of something?
We had a solar eclipse the other day. That was kind of cool.
We did. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool that I got to experience 2 solar eclipses in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So that's
like that.
What would you say? What do you think?
Me. I would say like in awe, probably. Oh, I was actually talking, shout out to Charlotte Steen. She just got out of her ACL surgery. Love you. Well, she was explaining to me like how the surgery goes, and that basically a part of your tendon in your knee is like they use that and put it in place of your ACL, and then your ACL is actually a ligament, so that tendon part starts to like learn how to become a ligament, and that's why the process of like recovery takes so long. So I was like, what?
That sounds disgusting.
Okay, yeah, I know. I was searched up photos. Don't search it up. But it was actually like, incredible. I was like in awe because that's just like crazy how well like God like created our bodies like so intricately and like had all of these like plans that if this happens like this will happen, stuff like that. So yeah.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So cool. So do you think the point of that was, do you think the part of the issue that is that we get so busy and like distracted trying to figure out this purpose or like the calling that everyone talks about all the time, or like just trying to maintain everything, kind of just keep it together, that we don't allow ourselves to have the space and time to be in that awe and kind of like just admiration of like God and just his creation and just who he is and like Jesus?
Yeah, I feel like if you're too focused on the plan that God has for you, then your mindset is just going to only be like, when's my plan coming? You're not going to focus on the things that God is actually doing to help you and stuff like that. Like you're just going to get more, I don't know, like depressed thinking about like, when's this moment in my life going to happen, rather than like the little things that add up over time.
True. Like you're not going to be able to see what's right in front of you when you're looking so far ahead. Yeah. I was thinking back to Pastor Dave, I think, the Bible teacher.
Box guy?
Yeah, the box guy. At chapel this week. Like it's kind of similar to that, because we need to like be intentional and kind of like put the time aside to be in awe and just to be like resting in the Lord and just like resting in prayer and devotion, because I think that's like so necessary. Like we need that time to just be at peace and like not have like our like stuff on our to-do list and stuff. So do you think like there are any like practical tips that you would give to someone that you've learned like through experience about making time for God, like through your busy life?
Caleb K said this at the beginning of the school year, and he said to get a buddy to like keep you in track.
Yeah.
I did that with my friend Adam for a month, and then it just faded away. But if you like keep that up, that's also good.
I agree.
And also, we spend like so much time on our phone during the day. I know I do like a ton.
Me
I don't
too.
know if you do, but just like 15 minutes and read the Bible or something like that.
Like if you think about how much time we spend on our phone, taking just like even like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, like to read a devotion or something. Like I would say honestly, what's been helping me recently is like if you have the Bible app on your phone, there's like plans that you can do, and it takes like literally 5 minutes, like devotions, and then it gives you some verses. So I think that's like a good practical way, and it's on your phone, so like you can do it wherever, like in the car or something. But yeah, so this is where I wanted to bring in, what would you say, just to like, you know, connect with the listeners, what's like a Bible verse that has stuck with you, helped you through those hard times?
As of 2 minutes ago, the Bible verse that has really stuck with me through those times, I got it. Hold on. Let me just go to Safari real quick. John 16:33. I have said this to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but be good of cheer. I've overcome the world.
That's fire.
And I've been reading that a lot
for the past minute.
Yeah, it's a really good one too. Known it my whole life.
You know what it is? Honestly, memorize that one, because I mean, for me it's Romans 12:12, and that's like one of the, I mean, besides like John 3:16 or whatever, like that I have memorized, like patient in affliction, or joyful in hope, patient in affliction, steadfast in prayer. So I think it's like good to have just like something to lean back on, like when you are just, you know,
like a backbone,
going through it. Backbone. It's a good word.
Yep.
Yeah. So I ended off last episode with this verse, and I know it's like a common verse, but we're talking about purpose and like God's plan, so we can't let it lose its importance, even though like we know it. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So just sit on that.
It's a great verse, guys.
Great verse. Yeah, so thank you, Carter, for joining us today on the Ford podcast. Yeah. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.